She she had Queen of Credits.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Good. So do you need to do anything as far as the stuff?
Yes, I do.
Do we do that now, Christina, or I call to order the regular Finance Committee for November 9th, 2020. Go ahead.
The procedures adopted for this meeting meet or exceed the standards set forth in the Governor Gavin Newsom's Order N-25-20, which allows public meetings like this one to be held by teleconference to help spread of COVID-19. At this time, it would be appropriate to conduct a roll, and I would ask the chair to recognize me afterward to confirm certain matters for the record. Vice Chair Perkins?
Here.
And Chair Alone?
Here.
Thank you. I would now like to verify that all members of the committee can hear me well.
Yep.
All members of the committee have been able to hear all previous speakers, including the roll call. And each committee member believes, based on facial or voice recognition or otherwise, that all persons representing themselves to be a committee member are in fact committee members. Thank you. All three are true, you indicated. And finally, as a reminder, any votes taken during this meeting must be taken by roll call.
All right. Are there any members of the public in attendance, Christina?
We have no one present.
All right. So I will open and close public comment. And item 3, approval of minutes. I guess do you need to do the roll call, or how does that work, Christina? Do you?
Scott, you moved?
I move.
Okay. Bill?
And I also approve. Second. There we go. Item 4, no unfinished business. Number 5. New business, quarterly revenue and expenditure reports for the period ending September 30, 2020. All right, Candace.
Good afternoon, everyone.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting with the revenues for the period ending September 30th. So for sales tax, there was a $119,000 increase, which was reflected in a change in business-to-business sales, one-time adjustments, and deferrals from 1920 payments due to the COVID pandemic. Property transfer tax, there's a $68,000 decrease, which reflects fewer home sales. TOT, $294,000, a decrease in hotel occupancy due to the COVID pandemic. Franchise fees were down, increased 72,000 based upon the rate increase in January 2020 for recycling. Licenses and permits were down 378,000 due to lower applications for building, electrical, energy, and plumbing permits. Charges for services had a decrease of 2.4 million. In planning and building, plan check services, engineering plan check, inspections, fees from parks and community services for aquatics, theater, team programs, sports, and all due to the COVID pandemic. Intergovernmental had a decrease of 119,000 due to the SB 90 reimbursements and the timing difference for the state SLESF grant, which is for PD in the prior year. For miscellaneous, there was a decrease of 600,000 in facilities, field, and gym rentals due to the COVID pandemic. So moving on to the other funds on page 7. I'm just going to highlight the ones with the largest differences. The mitigation funds had an increase of 212,000, which reflects 500,000 in open space development fees received from Lennar for the Preserve project, offset by decreases in all other mitigation funds. Gas tax had an increase of 128,000 based upon the timing differences for the August 2019 payment that was received in the prior year.
So absent that would have been we would have got, I mean, there's just less gas tax, right? Does the gas tax in this quarter reflect quite a ways back? It lags quite a bit, doesn't it?
I think it's I don't have the exact dates of what the gas tax is for, but I can get back to you.
Okay.
So the JEPA fees are based upon developer fees received from Contra Costa County and the town of Danville receive our percentage, so it varies from year to year. Street maintenance and improvement, there was a decrease of 158,000 due to the additional 1819 Measure J funding that we received from CCTA in 1920. The traffic improvement fund, there was $40,000 decrease in development-related activities compared to last year. And that also varies from year to year, just depending on development. Tri-Valley Transportation Fund had a decrease of 91,000, which reflects fees that were received from Cal Atlantic Home for the Preserve project in the prior year. And for the CIP fund, that also varies from year to year, depending on the projects and the grants that we receive. Are there any questions on the revenue?
Nope.
I know it's not a pretty picture.
What the picture is, right?
Yep, unfortunately. Okay,
Expenditures. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, so looking at the expenditures on page 9. Basically, just a quick recap, everything was within budget so far. We didn't have any overages, but we do have several vacancies. On page 11, you can see the chart at the bottom. We have 8 unfunded positions. We have 1 in admin services, which was the IT specialist. The assistant planner is unfunded. We have a division manager in Parks and Community Services, a recreation supervisor, a recreation coordinator, and 3 office techs, which were all in Parks and Community Services that are unfunded this year. And the vacant positions are 1 office specialist in the AP area of finance and admin services. We have 1 corporal, 6 officers, 1 police services technician, 1 office specialist. All of those are in PD. 2 maintenance specialists in public works and 2 office technicians also in public works. We have 1 admin analyst is vacant in Parks and Community Services. Any questions on the expenditures?
I didn't realize our PD was down by, 7 sworn officers.
Right. I mean, and there could have been some improvement to date, but this was as of the end of September.
Okay.
And we're only, so we have total expenditures 120,000 less than the first quarter of prior year, correct? Basically what this is saying?
Yes, and that was just added because of the COVID and everything, just to make an additional comparison.
So we're down essentially 3.8 million revenue over expense, huh? Essentially?
Well, 3.9 comparing.
Well, I'm just thinking with the 119 to the positive for expenditure, right?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Like you said, you wish it could be better, but you're not controlling it. Okay.
No.
Scott, any other questions?
No. Let's move on to the next item.
Item 5.2, Community Facilities District number 20141, Annual Reports, FY 2019-2020. are you going to do this, Candace?
Yes, I'll be doing the next two items.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, the short timer doesn't want to. I don't blame her. You can tell them that I'm not going to be there.
So I do think she had something she actually had to do at home.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you're more than capable. So go right ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So you have before you the 1920 annual reports for the CFD 2014-1 to comply with Government Code 50075.3. The reports are for Zone 1, which is the acres development, and Zone 2, which is a preserve. That includes information on the creation of the CFD, the process used to calculate the special tax levies, boundaries of the CFD, revenues and expenditures, and the ending fund balance. So for Zone 1, which is on page 18. So if you can refer to page 18 of your packet, it gives a recap. We had tax levy and interest earnings, which totaled $36,486. Expenditures were listed as the same, which is mostly for police services. And it also includes $93 for county admin fees, and a $902 reimbursement to the general fund for city admin fees. The remaining $35,488 is for expenses for maintenance and operations costs, as I said, which is mainly for police services in that area, leaving a fund balance of zero because the revenue is transferred back to the general fund at the end of the fiscal year. And the second zone can be found, the recap is on page 42 of your packet. Zone 2 had revenue and special levy and interest totaling $170,198. Expenditures were listed as the same, which included $432 in county admin fees and $2,706 of a reimbursement for city admin fees to the general fund. And the remaining expenses was $167,060 for maintenance and operations in the area, and leaving a fund balance of zero, which was transferred to the general fund at the end of the fiscal year. So the next step for the report is to take it to the council for filing. Are there any questions?
No, so we get about 206,000 at this time that goes into our general fund.
Correct.
Okay. And as they continue to build out those houses, we'll get more.
That's correct. We always make sure that those funds have a zero balance, so we don't keep any money in there.
Got to give Bill Clarkson
If you
and
kept,
Bob Sachs and Bill Clarkson get all the credit for that.
yeah, really. Hey, if any money was left over, would we have to give it back? Or is it just for accounting reasons, you make sure you drain it?
I don't think that would happen. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I could find out, but.
But if we, I mean, the whole point of this is to get paid for expenses that we're incurring.
Right.
So why wouldn't you?
Our expenses
Okay.
are much higher though than what we're collecting, so we're not in a position where we would have money left over at this time. And I think based upon when the CFD was set up and the calculation that they did, we're really supposed to just be reimbursing ourselves for the majority of the expenditures. So I don't think we'll fall into a situation where we would have money left over.
Okay.
Kind of like the San Ramon pool. It's a the expenditure that keeps on. Man, okay. Well, I'm glad we did it. It's $200,000 that we wouldn't have had, right, Scott?
Exactly.
And then any other questions, Scott? Comments? Anything more we need to know, Candace?
No, that's basically it. All the money goes to the general fund.
Cool. Item 5.3, proposed amendments to the statement of debt management and disclosure policy.
Okay, so every year we do a review of the debt management policy to make sure there aren't any changes we need to make to keep up to speed with what's current. So we do have some changes, and starting on page 69 of your packet. Just 1 second, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't have a packet, Candace, so if you just could reference what page it is, probably the pages that you, as you're numbering them on your report. So I assume it's page 1, right?
All I have is the packet. I mean, in terms of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I don't, sorry
So
about
this first thing just talks about the example. What I have in page 1 is by balancing the city services, infrastructure, and liability obligations. That's a change.
right.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good.
right. So per the policy, the Ministerial Services Director is supposed to review the policy every year and forward it to City Council with any amendments deemed necessary and appropriate. The Administrative Services Director and the outside financial advisors, which is Urban Futures, review the policy and have the minor changes which are listed. The first
Okay.
one stated on page 69, just adding some wording to say by balancing the city's service, infrastructure, and liability obligations.
Okay.
A little cleaner wording.
Through this, and I didn't see anything that's controversial or of consequence. You're just adding some words to be in compliance with some state or federal law. Is that right?
That's true, yes. It's just minor changes. There's nothing that really changes the way the policy is written.
And one thing it does is it mentions POB that we already have. I presume that wasn't there before, and
Right,
technically it should have been. And,
right. So we're just adding that in because we didn't have that listed. Then the next change, we're just adding some wording on the same page 71.
yeah, and there's some philosophy stuff about why you're doing things, right? So,
Correct.
Yeah.
So do you want me to keep going through every change, or?
I did nothing leaped out at me. Did it for you, Scott?
I read through it, and
Me too.
unless you have something, Candace, that you want to make sure we understand, that is consequential, I'm okay with it as presented.
No,
Me too.
like I said, it's just minor changes, just some cleanup language. So there wasn't anything major.
So Christina, do we need to do a vote on this one since it's going to the council? Nope.
I think so. It's,
No,
Okay.
Candace,
All right.
for a recommendation, correct? Or are you
We're just
for vote?
recommending it. So, all right. Yeah, that's cool. All right. I think we're done. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the last item.
Is this my last finance committee?
No, you still have one more.
Not that easy.
I believe the next one will be Monday, December 7th.
Okay.
Oh, okay. A day that will live in infamy, right?
We better get paid for that one too.
It's 3 hours long, and we're
Jim,
prepping for,
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of public comments. So
Yeah, and we'll call for votes on everything, right? All right.
And we'll update every single policy we've got, right?
Oh, I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. Well, thank you. You folks have been great, and thank you.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll see at least some of you tomorrow evening. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
like.